Hi guys, it's Intuitive 144. I am a psychic medium along with being a physical medium. If you want to book me, definitely book me. $20 picture readings, $50 30-minute readings, and $100 for an hour. I'm going to be doing Nat Turner. I want to say, but he has been the most draining person. Before I even get into this, me carrying this metal stick is kind of helping me channel him. And I'm going to be acting some things out, okay? But, he has seriously been the most draining. I did a reading on George Washington Carver. He took about 4 days. And he has pictures of himself on the internet. Nat Turner, this is why I kind of prefer not doing people who I cannot, see a real picture of them. But then I said, you know what? I got to challenge myself because there's probably going to come a time where I'm not going to be able to see things or just blah, 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 right? Just want to challenge myself, right? But I'm going to be doing Nat Turner, okay? I have a lot of notes. So let's begin. So mental illness came up. And okay, so I want to say, anybody that I read, famous, deceased, even my clients, I lay down and I meditate on their energy. So I lay down, I clear my mind, which sometimes takes 5 minutes to an hour. And I kind of chant their name and I ask spirit to allow me to see visions, images, songs. And sometimes if I don't understand what I'm seeing in my visions, they explain it to me. So I do speak to and hear spirits, okay? So let's begin. Mental illness came up for Nat Turner, okay? Mental illness came up for Nat Turner. I wrote, experience different stages of psychosis. He would talk to himself and he would murmur a lot. And I'm going to insert a clip right here. That is what he did, like a bunch of... I'm trying to make sure that's not a spirit. I'm sorry. He would do a lot of murmuring. So they showed me a vision of Nat looking at, black people, like the slaves. I guess in the vision, he's kind of like in the fields and he's just looking at people working. And then as soon as he lays his eyes on the master, even though there were a couple of white people in the vision. So as he shifts his eyeballs onto them, they turn into red devils, like they kind of turn into Tasmanian devils. Now, I was confused by this because A, he could have just hated their guts. B, he could have been experiencing hallucinations. Or C, being that he experienced psychosis, he could have believed whatever the voices told him about white people. Now, back to the reason why I'm mentioning voices is because he's going like, as I was saying earlier, he would talk to himself. And then I'm like, well, sometimes, and a few people have caught me, and this has been embarrassing. Sometimes I speak to spirits, like especially out loud. Like I have been on the street before and they're like, go up to him. He needs to see his mom. Please go tell him about his mom. And I'm like, sometimes I'll be like, well, what about his mom? Is his mom dying or something? And then people would catch me. Very embarrassing. So the C part being that he experienced psychosis, he could have believed whatever the voices told him about white people. I don't know any of this to be true, but I don't know if the C part is accurate. And I shouldn't assume, I should just stick with my gifts. But people that usually talk to themselves, like actually talk to themselves, it lets me know they're mentally ill or it's something where they could be hearing voices. So that's just my opinion. But let me take my opinion out for the rest of this video. I'm strictly going to be speaking on what I seen and what spirits gave me. So then the vision, I wrote, the slave owners always found him to be a bit off. Like the slave owners, whoever, not even slave owners, whatever other white people would just come to just like check in on their friends, whatever, like they would always pay attention to Nat, and like they would always question themselves like, something's off with him, but we can't really put our finger on it. All right. But they never really said anything about it because Nat was one of the strongest slaves, and he worked really hard, is what they allowed me to see in the vision. Okay. I believe many things made him angry, but what really set him off, or what it looked like to me in the vision, was that he was admiring a woman in the field. It kind of feels like the men had to work on this side and the woman had to work on the other side. And they're showing me he's doing some type of work with his hands. And every time he stands up, because I guess he had to do a lot of bending. Every time he stands up, he looks to the other side to admire this woman. Now, one of the slave owners, masters, whatever, I hate to even be calling them that, but just please let me say this for the sake of the video. The masters, one of the masters catches him, like he catches him staring, admiring this woman. And so the master, being petty, he goes up to this woman and he says, I couldn't really hear, but it was something like, I ought to make you a house Negro, something like that. And Nat is watching all of this. And so as the master says, I ought to make you a house Negro, as he says it, he like looks at her breast, and then he looks at Nat, like trying to be petty. Now this triggered Nat, and oh my God, I just caught butterflies in my stomach, because I actually do feel, feel how people pass, just things like that. So this just scared me because of what I've seen in the vision, in the visions. Now, this triggered Nat. This triggered him. Have you ever watched those movies or a cartoon where as soon as someone gets upset, everything goes red? That's kind of how they presented it to me in the visions. So I wrote, this triggered Nat. I believe later on in the vision, Spirit was trying to tell me that the woman Nat admired, was the lady in the field, was the same one that was raped by the master purposely to spite Nat, because he knew he liked/loved her. All right. Sometimes when I channel, my nose gets really itchy. Okay, guys. Now, the energy Nat gives me in the visions is if you step on his shoe to spite him, his revenge is getting you shot 28 times. He doesn't play fair, he plays worse. If you go low, he goes to hell. Then Spirit said pent up aggression. Yeah, that man had a lot of pent up aggression. During all of these scenes, visions, whatever, I'm like, I've never met somebody so angry before. And I've come across a lot of people that have anger issues. But I've never met Nat, but I've never picked up on like serious anger like ever until last night, with me finally being able to see things, okay? So I wrote pent up aggression. It feels like you can never speak to him without him being hostile. Then I wrote, so they showed me a vision of people trying to have a regular conversation with him, and then he just blows up. Let me give you an example. I'll give you an example with me and my mom. This was 2 years ago. I don't really speak to my mom like that, but sometimes when I don't really, because I have a lot of resentment, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes when I build up the patience and the courage to speak to her, so I speak to her. So one morning, I'm like, hey, good morning, how you feeling? She ignores me. Good morning, how are you feeling? She ignores me again. I'm like, are you okay? Stop fucking talking to me. I feel like you're making fun of my mental illness. No, I'm like, she goes, stop fucking talking to me. I feel like you're making fun of my mental health. What? So kind of like that with that, just out of nowhere. So let me go to the next page. These are a lot of notes. Spirit showed me a vision of DMX as Nat Turner. So that was confirmation for me that Nat was dangerously aggressive. I mean, just you can hear the aggressiveness in DMX's voice. Like, come on, And then the next thing I wrote and seen was Nat spent a lot of time alone. They showed me a vision of him sitting in the field, scoping out every angle of his area. Now in the vision, I can tell he was definitely praying and planning. Now this is interesting because I don't know if he slept in, I don't know what the cots, I don't know what they slept in back then, but he snuck out of it every night. Never really got caught. Interesting. So the visions was, so next thing I wrote is whoever spoke to him, it seems like, oh, so I wrote, when whoever he spoke to seemed like, it seemed like he only said two sentences to them, no more, maybe less. And whatever came out of his mouth, he meant it, okay? For example, let's say you have a friend and you're on the phone, girl, I gotta go to Target, I gotta go to the post office, I have so much I gotta do. Girl, me too, girl. I'll meet up with you in the morning. All right, girl, I'll see you later. Text me in the morning. And this friend never texts you. So it's like this is kind of a friend where they kind of flake a lot. But every time this person says they're gonna, pop out, you believe it. With him, he was the opposite. If he said he was showing up at 8 a.m., he's there 7:58. 7:58 a.m. Okay, Nat, so I wrote, Nat was the complete opposite. Punctuality was everything to him. You got killed behind, so we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So Spirit said anytime he thought of his mom or the woman he loved, he became furious. Furious, furious, furious. I believe if he was alive today, he'd be diagnosed with IED. Now, I've never heard of IED until last night because I'm like, why is he so angry? I've never seen someone this angry before. And so I went on Google and I type in mental illness anger and intermittent explosive disorder, IED, intermittent explosive disorder. That's what that is. So the next thing I wrote, they're showing me a vision of him meeting up with people. This is when it got scary for me. This is when it became scary for me. I have to stop saying God. They're showing me a vision of him meeting up with people and he's speaking about something serious. There were 11, please remember this. There were 11 people in the meeting, including 2 women, which was interesting. There were 11 people in the meeting, including 2 women. The next follow-up, the next meeting, Spirit shows me them in the meeting again. And Nat Turner counts how many people were in the room, and there are now 10. Now this sends him into full rage, I already know one of y'all gonna correct me anyways. So the next vision shows me him yelling at the man somewhere in the, I don't say woods, the fields. This is at nighttime, which was interesting because they made, whatever. Go sit. The vision shows him yelling at the man that wasn't at the meeting and then beating him with kind of like a shovel until he died. This was an introduction to him going on a killing spree. It feels like the only person that could calm him down was the woman he loved, and he didn't get to see her often, which only worsened his anger. Huge, crazy anger problems. Now, although mental illness kept coming up for him, it feels like him being mentally ill was a gift from God because it allowed him to lack empathy when it came to killing people. He showed absolutely no remorse, even for his own people. Brakata, 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 brakata. I mean, this man didn't play no mother games. Brakata, brakata, brakata. Jab, 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 hung, hung, hung. He wasn't playing no games. Spirit showed me a vision of when Jesus Christ told Judas, in 3 days, you are going to betray me. Now, Nat, he wouldn't have even wasted his breath on Judas. He would have killed him right there. If he felt an ounce of, you're gonna rat on me, you're gonna betray me, you're gonna play with me, brakata, 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 killed you. He had a strong discernment, Spirit said. His energy was very much move out the way or be killed too. Brakata! Yo, my dog is looking at me like I'm crazy. Then the vision switched to a slave. This is interesting. Then, I hate to say a slave. Then the vision switched to a slave ratting him out, and then the vision switched to him being hung, or him being him getting ready to be hung. Is it hung or hang? Him getting ready to be hanged. Him getting ready to be hung. I already know y'all gonna correct me, so please correct me, because I would hate to be saying hung and it's really hanged. Please let me know. And as they're wrapping the noose around his neck, it feels like his last thoughts were of the woman that he loved. And it feels like he did all of this for her. It's kind of like the domino effect, you know? Now, I don't sense he ever felt fear. Even as they were putting the noose around his neck, it was more so of like, hey, I killed a lot of people. This is what happens. And it kind of reminds me of The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God asking 50 Cent, you know, how do you feel about getting shot all those times? And 50 Cent was saying, well, I did a lot of bad stuff, so that was just karma. And people like that I really respect, admire, because a lot of people lack accountability. And let's be real, what you put out is what you get in return. Life is like the boomerang effect. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, for Nat to have that energy, it was just very much like masculine energy, divine masculine energy. Like, hey, I killed a lot of people. It only makes sense for me to die this way. Okay, so if hell was a real place, he was perfectly fine with going there. He felt like he served justice. He felt like he got justice, okay? It kind of feels like he wished he killed a lot of more people, but he's at peace with what he did. All right. That's all that I have for Nat Turner. And you know, towards the ending of the visions, they show me and I never watched the movie Spartacus, but I did watch like a 2-minute clip because it was circulating on TikTok like years ago. There's a scene in Spartacus when Spartacus is like, kill them all. Kill them all. That's what Nat Turner gave. And let me tell you something, I really relate to Nat Turner. I don't care how people are going to perceive me after I say what I say. But if I'm outside and people start shooting at me, and my friends have guns and they're not shooting back, kill them too. Kill them too. Because what are we talking about? Like, what are we doing? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, kill them too. Because they're not my friends. Did that sound harsh? It is what it is. Nat ain't play no games. Nat ain't play no games. Nat ain't play no games. Brakata. Well, that's all that I have. This was really interesting. This took me forever. But hey, sometimes things are worth the wait. That's all that I have, guys. This was a little interesting. And hey, I learned something new. Intermittent explosive disorder. Wow. Well, that's all that I have for you guys, all right? If you're interested, $20 for a picture reading, $50 for a 30-minute reading, and $100 for an hour. And look how, isn't this so funny? Look at this shirt I'm wearing. Like, this was literally Nat. Okay, I'm gonna go. Everybody have a great day. I'm getting rid of the picture readings, guys. So August 1st, she's going bye-bye. So take advantage, because I'm going to get rid of her. I'm getting new business cards and everything. I'm upping my prices. I'm probably not going to up my prices till maybe like December, but August 1st, I'm getting rid of the picture readings. Thank you guys so much. Thank y'all so much for the support. Sometimes I feel like I'm an embarrassment. What am I even doing? Like that, I think that's why I delete a lot of my videos and delete my lives, because I'm like, people are probably laughing at me, making a mockery of me. You know, That's just me getting in my head. But yeah, this was an interesting reading. Okay, bye.